I mean, I think it'd be
Wait,
a
what
great
about the
idea
show?
if the show for Lent we fast together as fasting fathers.
Fasting fathers?
Like give up the show?
No, just give up the food bit.
It's bad. It's a bad thing to do. No one should break their fast.
Correct.
And everybody should follow the laws of the church when it comes to fasting.
Wait, why are you saying that so like
What do you mean?
explicitly?
What
Do you
mean?
think I scandalized them right now by that?
No, I just feel like. What's up, guys?
Not much.
What's
Why are you
happening?
sitting there?
Because you were sitting in my seat.
You said something very interesting on a recent interview you did.
I
On
did?
a podcast or something, yeah.
Okay.
But I won't say it because I don't want to get you in trouble. But I support what you said.
You do?
Yeah.
Please say it. Please say it. I
So-
want to know. Please.
So I don't know what that guy's name is. That
voice of reason.
yeah.
You know the guy that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
very
yeah.
okay.
I've never heard of him.
Cool
but
guy, okay.
in support of you, I'm like, let me just
Okay.
flip through it, see what's going on.
Yeah.
You know? I click on a random part in the video, and you said, to be honest, like for me, my opinion, I would love to celebrate ad orientem
Oh.
instead of versus populum, and this is why.
The mass, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, because he was asking me about the Chaldean mass and stuff like that, and he saw that our mass, our altar at St. Michael's was like made to face the people, and so he was telling me like, oh, like how does that work? Like, does the Chaldean church do that and stuff? And I said, yeah, this is what we do now, but I personally prefer to face the cross.
He actually didn't know, or was he fishing a little bit?
No, I think he like actually thought that we just face the people at that moment, but he did know that we do it throughout history, that we were facing the
good.
cross for the liturgical prayer, obviously.
Yeah.
Like we never face the cross during the homily or the gospel,
yeah.
obviously, you know. But
Obviously.
but yeah, that was cool. What else is going on? What do you have to say
With
about
me?
that? Yeah.
What do I have to say about that? I have things to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that. But we'll just leave it how it is.
So, what are you guys giving up for Lent?
Well, that's coming up, huh?
You know, I was gonna
Yeah, it is.
like, what are we gonna do about the show,
Ooh.
about food
Oh,
and
I thought you were
fasting
gonna
and-
say something else.
What?
It's a good point.
I mean, I think it'd be
Wait,
a
what
great
about the
idea
show?
if the show for Lent we fast together as fasting fathers.
Fasting fathers?
Like give up the show?
No, just give up the food bit,
Oh,
and instead we can do something else during Lent for those 6 minutes.
I low key don't
5-6 minutes.
don't like the food segment of this.
Should we make it try again?
You
for
know
Lent?
what? Father Andy's nephew and niece only watch the food segment, just so you know.
But
And some people like it,
look, never mind.
like other people, like adults. I don't know. I think
How many have
adults.
told you they like it? How many have told
some
you?
people have told
they-
me
they
during
don't
our
watch
food
it?
thing, like, hey, like that was a funny food
Oh,
session.
oh
you know,
really?
it's just like
Yeah,
a
we
little
have our-
baharat at the end. You know.
So what do you want to do? I mean, for Lent, do you still want to eat food, or do you want to replace it with something else?
I think it depends on what we're fasting from. You
We're
know
all
what I'm
gonna
saying?
fast from the same thing.
No. I mean, like what?
Meat.
What do you want? What were you planning to fast from, Father Simon?
I don't know. I was gonna ask you guys actually what are some ideas, because I want to go hardcore this
Every year.
Yeah.
I want
You're gonna harm yourself one
No,
day, by the
man.
way, with all these challenges you do.
No. I wanna go hardcore, and I want some ideas from you guys.
Okay.
So basically, I was thinking, like, what if I give up meat and dairy, for example, which I haven't decided to do yet. But what if I do that, and then on the show we get burgers and what you call it? And I'm gonna be like this guy, and he said
Eat what
like,
is set before
like
you.
last time he said he doesn't want to eat
Yeah.
what is said before it. But then like what I'm thinking is I don't want to be a bad example for our viewers. You know what I'm
We
saying?
already are. No, I'm joking.
No, I mean like during Lent. What do you guys think?
Okay, why don't we start here? What is Lent? And then maybe we'll come up with some ideas.
Okay.
But the question the question I like more is what is different about a Chaldean Lent?
Lent is a Latin word, means like springtime or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
And we don't celebrate Ash
Ash
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
right?
You are dust, and to dust you shall return.
We don't
or
have the
something.
Triduum at the end,
We
right?
don't have the Triduum. It's considered.
We have the days, but we don't call it the Triduum.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But technically, for us, those are not
Lent.
part of the liturgical season of Lent. Technically speaking,
Why not?
because
we
of
start
the
on
40.
Monday. We
Yeah,
start
but
on,
it's
on
40.
Monday, not
Do the
Wednesday.
math.
So Monday, Lent is 7 weeks. Monday, Sundays do not count. So that's 7 times 6. But the last week, Good Friday, do you count Good Friday? No, you don't count Good
You
Friday.
don't.
So that means that's 2 days gone. That's 40 days. So
Yeah.
7 times
Without
6 is
Holy Thursday and
7
Good
times
Friday.
6 is 42.
Mm-hmm.
No, Holy
What do you mean
Thursday
6?
counts.
Why 6?
Because it's
7
6 days. Sunday you don't fast.
Oh, yeah. That's what you mean. Sorry.
7 times 6 is
Monday
42.
through Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
the last week, there's 2 days missing, Friday and Saturday. So Friday and Saturday, technicality speaking, you minus 2.
Andrew, you know what we need to insert? That gif of that guy trying to,
What'd you say?
trying to make an equation. It needs to be right here.
So 42
Why'd
minus
you-
2
Why do you
is
say
40.
technicalities?
Because it's a nice word. It's a fun word to say.
Scientifically speaking, one of our altar servers, Chanel, says that. Scientifically speaking, but
She a scientist?
no, it's just like
Oh.
a thing, you know, like you saying technicality speaking. So we fast for 40 days.
40 days.
That's the moral
but
of the
we
story.
fast more, actually. Because we do fast on Good Friday. And we do fast on Holy Saturday, the Saturday of Light, until, if you go to Vigil Mass, then, it's Easter.
Yeah.
But we fast for more, but technically speaking, our Lent is 40 days. Technicality speaking. That's the math.
So Sundays are liturgically part of the season of Lent, but they're not fasting days, right?
Yes.
Do you guys know of people
yeah.
that fast on Sundays still?
Yeah,
I fast on Sundays.
Yeah.
I do all 50
I
days.
don't. Yeah.
50
Yeah.
days.
Interesting flex.
Look, what do you
Interesting
better
plan.
than
If there's-
Jesus?
if there's like a
Jesus
certain-
fasted for 40 days.
But if there's a certain, sin that you're really trying to correct during Lent, obviously,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Don't do it on
it's
Sunday.
not like you give it up during Lent and on Sundays it's like, all right,
Yeah.
we'll start cussing up a storm or something.
I know.
Yeah, but for food, you're feasting on Sundays.
Yeah.
You're celebrating the resurrection every single Sunday. So there's nothing wrong with, eating meat or dairy. Let's say Father Simon, if you were to give it up,
Yeah.
you can eat meat or dairy on Sunday,
Yeah.
Father Simon, and that would be okay because you're feasting and you're celebrating the resurrection. That's what we do.
Did
Yeah.
you take pre-workout before the show?
No, I just.
I love this.
No, he's on one today. I don't know why.
I'm just happy to be here with you guys.
That's good.
And I'm excited for our Lent, what we're going to do on
Yeah.
the show.
No, we're gonna come to a
There's
good,
going to be no food on the show.
a good conclusion. Have you guys heard of the people that say like, or they ask like, we're supposed to give up meat and dairy for the whole thing, right? Some people
No.
think that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know
Maybe
why.
they confuse it with bauta.
Did the church ever require
Require.
that?
I think so, and I think that's
Yeah.
why people think that.
In the villages and stuff.
Maybe they still practice that in the villages.
Well,
Which
in
is-
the early church, I mean, meat was something that you wouldn't eat as often. So that's like a given. It was
Yeah.
a luxury.
Yeah.
One thing that always stands out to me when it comes to Lent is how it's presented to us in the Gospel of Matthew, with Jesus being baptized a chapter before. Then the next chapter, he goes into the wilderness and is tempted by the devil. And the reason why, and I learned this from my old professor, Dr. Michael Barber, shout out to him. He explained the significance of Jesus being baptized, and when someone is baptized, you're ultimately anointed. And when you're anointed, it's a royal, kingly act to be anointed. And just as, and he compared it to King David, right after he was anointed king, he fought his biggest enemy, which was Goliath. And Jesus is going to fight his biggest enemy, which is the devil, and to defeat him. So preparing so, and the way it applies to us is we who are baptized, we're also anointed and we're also faced with this battle. And we do it with Jesus and in the same manner that he did. You know, go to the wilderness and prepare yourself, you know, because just because you're baptized, it doesn't mean the fight gets easier. If anything, it gets harder, but it becomes possible with Christ.
It says he went to the wilderness and he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and afterward he was hungry. But I think the Greek word is like famished, like he was absolutely starving, you know? So sometimes people think that he used his divine power to get through that, you know? But I think that the text itself shows us that he didn't. Actually, he really, really suffered during that time. I mean, some people would say that it's not humanly possible to not eat food for 40 days. I think it doesn't imply that he didn't drink water. So I think he pushed himself to the ultimate limit, the ultimate human limit. And then it said that he was starving. And then the devil, you know, the first temptation is that the devil told him, change the rocks into bread, basically telling him to use his divine power to cheat, you know, to satisfy himself. And so that's why I think it shows us also, because he rejected that. So I think it shows us also that he didn't use any type of power to get through the 40 days.
You could also see that connected then, if like we follow that, him pushing himself to his absolute limit is when he's in the Garden of Gethsemane. You know, he started sweating blood. He's at his absolute breaking point. Yeah.
So what else about the first temptation? What do you guys think it means? You know, the devil telling him turn the stones into bread.
I remember Father Andy teaching us this, how there's no like possible way in nature where a rock can become bread.
Yeah.
So Jesus would have to defy the laws of nature that's already created by God in order to bring bread from a rock. Right? It's like a abuse of power in a way. So there can be that aspect of like interpreting the temptation, that when Jesus is asked to do that, he's saying, well, it's not in the nature of God to do so anyway, right? There's laws of nature for a reason that he has created. And sure, technically speaking, right, God is all powerful. He can do that. But because of that, the devil tries to twist the meaning of the created world into its own selfish purposes. And Jesus, again, he succeeds, and he responds with scripture, right? He says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by the word of God.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. I think that's from a psalm, right?
Yeah. Thanks for correcting that.
No, you're welcome, man.
Keeping in mind what you guys already said, especially like how Father Danny mentioned the context, which we need to know. What happens before Jesus goes out into the wilderness? The fact that he's baptized, confirmed as the Son of God, with the voice of the Father coming from heaven, the dove descending on his shoulder as signifying the Holy Spirit. Keeping that in mind, that context, he heads into the wilderness. You start to see that Jesus goes through temptation. Jesus, like you said, pushes himself to the limit that a human can encounter in terms of fasting, some kind of disciplinary act like that. Temptation is a reality. I think that's one of the things we have to grasp from that. Temptation is a reality of human existence. But I'm not being tempted as just Father Chris, or it's not just Father Tristan who's being tempted. A son of God is being tempted. Because I have been baptized too. We've all been baptized too. We've all been brought into his house, into his kingdom, and into potential, participants in his kingdom. So we're being tempted as his sons. What should I get out of this? What's my assignment here? What's the purpose of the temptation? If I'm going to find a purpose to it, if I'm going to see it as not just an arbitrary trial. Well, the Father has brought me into his family. This is where I say, I want to be in your family. By disciplining myself through self-control, through not being prideful, like we see in the second temptation, through not being disorderly attached to material things, as we see in the third temptation. So it's through this wilderness that I say, yes, I do want to be your son. You brought me in through your own loving initiative into your family. You called me your son. You called me your daughter. Now is my chance to say, yes, I'm going to love the same way you loved me, by loving myself the right way, by loving you the right way, by loving my neighbor the right way. You see that reflected in all the temptations. And then also in what the church calls the pillars of Lent, the things that we're supposed to practice in response to each temptation in an increased way during Lent, which are fasting, praying, and almsgiving.
So behind each temptation, there's like this broader scale of sin. So for example, the first one, it doesn't just refer to food, but also like just fleshly desire in general, right? Like desire,
lust of the flesh,
Lust of
right?
the
That's
flesh.
what St. John says, 1 John chapter 2. That the three
triple
lusts,
triple
yes.
concupiscence,
Yeah, lust of the flesh. And then with Eve, it says that she saw that the tree was good for food,
Delight to the eyes.
delight to the eyes, and desirable to make one wise.
so lust of the flesh,
It's all connected.
lust of the eyes, and
Pride
pride
of
of
life.
life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. One way to apply Lent as members of, I'll just speak for us, as members of the Church of the East, is our liturgy does a really good job of waking us up during this liturgical season. Because with us, even though, after, we came into communion with Rome, we started applying Stations of the Cross every Friday, things like that. But we originally, again, we never had Stations of the Cross. That's something that we adopted from the Latin Church. It's, nice meditation, and, you go through the way of the cross and the different stations. But on a much bigger scale, what the liturgy does is it forces you to wake up during Lent. So if you're praying morning prayer, it's different. If you're praying daily evening prayer, it's different. You have different prayers happening in the beginning. And Holy Week is very exaggerated with the things that we do in the Church of the East. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. And exaggerated meaning there is a well-formed liturgical program for each day. And prayers that are said in this melody, prayers that are said during this time, the gospel that's read during this time, in which gospel we choose, things like that. So to have a really good Lent is to be close to the liturgy and to allow the liturgy to wake you up, because sometimes we can't trust ourselves during Lent. How many times do we say, I gave this up, but I fell, and because I fell, I don't want to get back up. It's hard, things like that. And we go through that internal battle, which is fine. You should be getting back up, but give yourself more to the church and let the church guide you through Lent.
What does that hymn say? Let us cleanse our consciences
And scour
our
our
minds
minds from the stain of sin.
Yeah.
and our vices cast away.
As we strive for excellence.
Yeah. May we all discern
the truth of the flesh and blood of Christ.
Yeah. So it's that idea that the liturgy is bringing is like scour your minds from the stain of sin, like deep clean.
Yeah.
Now is the time to go through that deep clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not only about, oh, let me just give up chips or something like that and barely even do that, like Jesus hurt himself literally. Like he was extremely hungry by the end. He made himself weak for our sake. And we just give up chips or chocolate barely, like we got to go harder when it comes to that.
One of the distinctions I think is worth making is that it's not like he went out looking for suffering, looking for something to take as a trial upon himself, but in this wilderness, this journey into the wilderness, this like descent into the depth of human existence, which means human suffering and human challenges. Like he fasts, and then he's hungry. He should eat, obviously, but when the temptation comes, no, there's something more important than the food, which is every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. When the temptation comes to have people recognize him as the Son of God by throwing himself off the temple, no, there's something more important, and that's called trusting God and seeing what God's will how it can form me. And when it comes to gaining the kingdoms of the world, No, there's a different way to do it. The funny thing is, actually, I'll share this now. I just got reminded because Father Simon's here. One time I was at AIM, the middle school youth group that's at St. Michael's, and we were talking about this. And one of the kids in my small group that I had, all of a sudden, when we were talking about the three temptations, raises his hand and says, "Hold on, doesn't Jesus do all these things anyway?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, doesn't he give a lot of bread to people? And doesn't he get called the Son of God eventually? And doesn't he get the kingdoms of the world eventually?" And then I cried after that. I literally did.
Wow.
Because I was like, what just happened? What did this kid just
Out of
say?
the mouths of
Babes.
children, babes, yeah.
Yeah, he like interpreted the whole
Wow.
thing like in 5 minutes after we talked about it in small groups. And that's what I'm trying to say too. Jesus does all of these things that the devil is tempting him to do, but in a different way, in a way that involves discipline and sanctification. Yeah.
So the last one, how does he become the king? Well, he is the king, but how does he like live out his kingship is through the sacrifice of the cross.
Which changes the heart,
Yeah.
which circumcises the heart. So if he bows to Satan, that means serving Satan. Okay, you're going to share in his kingship of the world, right? But that means zero conversion. That means no redemption.
No love.
That means people are stay in their sin.
Yeah.
Okay, people will know who you are. You'll be influenced by you or whatever, or you'll be in charge. You'll have authority. But he did not come for authority alone. He came to fight the battle where the battleground is the human heart, and it's overtaken by all these different temptations that we're talking about.
I think another aspect to look at the parallels of, because you were mentioning the threefold lust with Adam, the way he got tempted by the serpent and Jesus in the wilderness, is that it happens when you're vulnerable, temptation. The devil knew Jesus was in the wilderness in a lonely place and fasting. So what's the first temptation? You knew he was hungry. Turn this stone into bread. And the same thing with Adam. Adam was in idleness. He was supposed to be keeping and tilling the garden. And that's immediately when he began to be tempted. So it should be no surprise that when you start fasting during Lent or outside of Lent, don't be surprised if you get tempted even more. And most of the time, we probably fall after that first temptation. The devil wanted to get it out of the way, tempt him with changing the stone into bread and then finish it there. No, but he kept on pushing him. And the devil does that too with us. When we fast like that, we're in communion with God. He's going to continue to push us, but we need to continue to fight.
Yeah. Because the cool thing about it is that actually our fasting should be making us stronger to be able to defeat temptation. And sometimes people, they say, oh, I want to give up like gossiping or, like a bad habit. And it's good to do that. But bad habits, you should always be giving them up. You should always be trying to not do those things. And if Lent is going to be a good time for you to focus on that, okay, then that's good. But Lent is primarily about you actually making a sacrifice for something that you just enjoy, which is, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. You enjoy this thing and you give it up so that you train yourself to reject chocolate or meat or dairy or something that I like, and I'm going to train myself to give up the desire that I have for that thing so that I can be able to fight the bad desires, the bad temptations.
Yeah, I think if we can understand that Father Chris mentioned earlier with fasting, prayer, and almsgiving, if we can have something like structure our Lent around that with really challenging ourselves with our fast, really adding, certain kinds of daily prayer. If you don't go to Mass every Sunday, making sure you're going to Mass every Sunday, as well as almsgiving, right? Giving to the poor, giving to the church. It's the sign of letting go and really, really trusting in God. I also wanted to mention, you gave me, you're talking about Adam and Eve. There's also another connection to the Old Testament as well. like a big one, which is the Exodus. Right, when Moses leads the Israelites out of Egypt, and they're in the wilderness traveling to the promised land. What was their biggest fault, the Israelites? Like what were they always doing that they would talk to Moses, and Moses would go to God with their request? They were complaining. They were grumbling,
Murmuring.
right? They weren't satisfied with what they had, even though they were not slaves anymore. They would have rather been slaves than not have quail or not have the manna, right? They would complain about these things. So when we're going through our Lent, a big vice that we can bring upon ourselves is complaining about our fasting and complaining about what we have to do and complaining about the requirements of the church. That's all poison for the soul. Like, our fasting becomes pointless and worthless if we're gonna treat it as something that is not only difficult but as a nuisance, something that we don't want to do, and we're gonna complain about it. We're gonna talk to other people about it and complain, why do we have to do this? It's just gonna be pointless. So we have to really watch ourselves, examine ourselves, and catch ourselves in those moments where we want to complain. Jesus had every opportunity to complain when he's fasting 40 days and 40 nights. He was very hungry. He really could have accepted that temptation. But if we can discipline ourselves enough to where we offer those complaints to God and we say, God, this is really hard right now, but I'm doing it for salvation. I'm doing it for you. And we can practice that, our Lent will be 10 times more fruitful than would have been.
Does it make you a bad Catholic if you don't fast?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, to some degree. Yeah,
Especially if
fasting-
you're aware of why it's there. If you've been given a reason, like, you know, Father Tristan just explained about complaining and stuff, and you still choose not to take on this spiritual form of discipline, you still choose not to take on fasting and praying and almsgiving, and you know why it's there. You're not a good Catholic.
because fasting, it's a big pillar of Lent, but it should be practiced.
Yeah.
Always.
So what is required by the church? Let's say for those that are watching, because these things are decided by the local bishop, right? So for us in the Chaldean eparchy of St. Peter for the Western United States, what is required, and then what is up to them to do?
So requirements are could be wrong. I didn't check the calendar, but it's the first day, middle day, and Good Friday is where we fast until noon and abstain from meat and dairy.
And you fast on Fridays.
And we fast on
And you
Fridays
fast from meat on Fridays. But
Yeah.
the middle day this year, by the way, just has a fish on it. It doesn't have the fast.
Pelagum?
It doesn't have the fast until noon and abstain from meat and dairy.
Good job, Abbott and Keto.
I mean,
the
that's a question for Abbott and Keto.
So those are the things that are required by the church. So
And the church regulates your fasting too through the law, because the law says that when you belong to an eparchy, like you said, we belong to St. Peter's eparchy, our fasting laws follow us, you know, and you have to be granted permission, you know, to be dispensed from those fasting laws if you're traveling or whatever, things like that.
So do you guys think, you know, one of the criteria for a mortal sin is it's a grave matter, right? So do you guys think it's a grave matter to break one of these fasting laws?
I don't know if it matters what we think. I think there has to be some
I
kind
know
of
there's some, but I
there
don't
has to be
know.
some
For
kind of
grave matter,
regulation for
it's-
this.
yeah, I don't think it would be a mortal sin.
You think so?
Let's fight. Yeah.
I kind of disagree, bro.
Why? What's the standard?
Because the standards that this is the fasting laws of the church that the church gives you.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you deliberately break them knowingly, you know, obviously, like, and you have those
Full knowledge,
those
yeah.
criteria, I think basically it's much more serious than breaking it if you say like, oh, I decided to give up meat for all of Lent. And if you break that, I think it's less serious than breaking one of the rules of the church for the fasting, because it's so minimal. You know, like what the church has.
I get that position.
There's
but,
also a lot of circumstances too that especially have to do with food.
Well, that's
Yeah,
with
but
mortal
they-
sin in general.
but we're
you
talking
know?
about the object right now.
Yeah,
not
yeah. I'm
food.
talking about like, let's say they already know and they're willingly gonna do it.
So what you're saying is, it's a grave matter. It's a mortal sin if they break their fast on pelgu or whatever.
Yeah, like if he has an option between a burger and
Yeah.
a fish taco, and he deliberately
and you are no longer in union with God because of that. Because that has to be the conclusion. If we follow
well, that's what mortal sin is.
But I'm not saying one way or another because I'm not gonna, whatever. But when you're saying you're not in union with God, part of that is not being in union with His church because it's a natural extension of Him, right?
Yeah.
So in some ways, if you're not in union with the church, you are in mortal sin. I'm not. Having said that, I still don't agree with one side or another. I don't know.
But there's
I
a
don't know.
scale to that if you're not in union
Yes.
with the church.
Of course.
So there's a lot
There's
of gray
missing mass
area.
on Sunday. You're missing the liturgical, the receiving of the body and blood of Jesus, right?
But there's also, I don't know, missing Ramsha and Sapra and Ba'utha prayers and things
No,
like
these
that.
are not binding though.
Those aren't
on the
binding,
laity.
like the
No,
fasting laws.
No, I know, but what I'm saying, I'm talking about union with the church.
Yeah, but this is
No,
law.
I mean like union, capital like union
This is
with the
law.
church. You know
You're
what
a
I mean?
law
Sunday,
guy.
yeah,
No?
okay.
So you don't have to go to Ba'utha prayers. You should. You don't have to though. But this is law of the church.
Like when we say like the church on these days is calling people to fast
Yeah,
in such a way, does that mean like it's binding on them?
it is binding.
Okay, so if they knowingly are aware of what it is, why it's there, and with full knowledge they choose to reject it,
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's a sin.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're
rejecting
saying
that it's a sin.
Like
I'm just saying there's a big gray area to constitute that as a grave matter and say this person is officially
Yeah.
in mortal sin.
I think, but they should still confess it though
It's a sin.
if they do it.
I'm not
Yeah.
rejecting that. It's
Yeah.
a sin, 100%.
I think I'm with Father Danny.
Yeah.
Just because it's, I mean,
I think you lost. No one's on
It's-
this.
He's
don't
not
know.
going to back
No,
down.
no.
He's
It's
not. I
hard
know.
to, it's hard to have.
I know.
Unless there's
I'm
some
gonna
kind
ask. I mean,
unless there's some kind of
I pray for the
law.
Pope, but I was gonna call the Pope because I think that's the only way that we'll.
You can call the Pope.
Unless
No,
there's
no,
some
no,
kind
I'm
of
joking.
definitive church teaching on this, to have the authority to say like that is a mortal sin, I don't know. I wouldn't say.
Well, you can't
that.
really say that about a lot of things.
most
like-
things.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
almost
the
nothing
thing.
actually.
But then again, it's like you don't know. You can't say like, oh, it's up to the person's conscience, right? I mean, because there's an object. You
Yeah,
are
the object is
doing-
fasting,
yeah,
and it's breaking that fast.
but there are different levels, right? You know, like
Yeah.
you agree with that. Like
You
this
steal
person
$1,
gave up chocolate.
Yeah, yeah.
Fasting is
If
a
he
good
breaks
rule.
of that,
So-
what?
okay, so I just maybe this is changes things. Fasting is doing something good. It's not. There's no like sin attached to fasting.
No, they're talking about liturgical law or like church law.
So what I'm saying is that because fast, if you don't fast, if I don't fast today and I eat the food here unwillingly against my will,
Okay,
does that mean
dude, I'm so hungry right now.
does that
Anyways.
does that mean let's say this show was on the first day of Lent,
Okay,
Monday,
yeah,
and they brought food that had meat and dairy in it for us to eat on the show.
okay,
And all that food is laid out in front of us. But the church requires that we don't eat meat or dairy.
yeah.
And what do we do?
Find someone who's not Catholic and give it to them.
Really?
That's an option. Yeah.
Would you eat the food?
No,
I'm not
if
touching
it
the
was
food.
no, not if it was a fasting. If it was a look. If I was
What kind of example?
listen,
was
no. Let me give you another example, Father Tristan. Let me give you another example. Okay, let's say I have chosen to give up meat for all of Lent, right? And I go visit someone's house on a random Wednesday, and this lady made dolma, and she worked all day to make it,
And you flipped it.
and she asked me to flip it.
And I filmed the whole TikTok about it. Yeah.
You did this to yourself.
Bad example, bro.
I would eat it. I would probably eat it though, just because it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to.
But if
grave
it was a
matter.
Friday
Yeah.
and she's a Chaldean Catholic,
No, you would.
I think me eating it would be like,
Scandalous?
yeah, scandalous a little bit. And so I wouldn't have filmed a TikTok about that.
and you should chastise her for sure about it.
Yeah, I would
If
say
they-
like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah. But again, it goes back to the grave matter. That's
Either
the thing.
way, let's agree to disagree. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Let's just it's bad. It's a bad thing to do. No one should break their fast.
Correct.
And everybody should follow the laws of the church when it comes to fasting.
Wait, why are you saying that so like
What do you mean?
explicitly?
What
Do you
mean?
think I scandalize them right now by that?
No, I just feel like a lot of people like to make excuses and they like to say,
Sure.
"Oh, this is a venial sin, so it's okay."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we should not
It's
have that
not
attitude.
okay. My favorite part about this whole thing is that because we're a church, we're not fasting alone either.
Yeah.
So like when I'm tempted to eat meat on that Monday or eat dairy on that Monday, I know Father Simon and Father Danny and Father Chris. I know they're
That
fasting
they're all going
too,
through it,
right?
yeah.
And like we're part of this team. We're together.
So should we do a joint one for fasting
Look,
fathers?
I have a suggestion for fasting fathers.
Okay.
Okay, you guys don't have to do this. I think I'm gonna do this for Lent.
You're saying for all of Lent or just when we're doing the show?
No,
No.
all of Lent.
All of Lent, but it's gonna apply to the show too.
What is it?
It's fasting, not like not eating
Like
food.
intermittent fasting type of thing?
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, like one meal a day, or
And nothing in
or like-
between.
or like a window of when you eat in that day between 1 to 2 or 3 or 4 hours, whatever it is, and then no more food. No more food until the next day. And I think, when we're doing the feeding fathers, when you guys, especially when you guys invite Father Andy and Father Nikito to the show, and I'm not here, for those days, you guys can also practice this as well with them if you want to text them and mention it to them about it.
Father
Where
Indy's
you-
not going to do
you
it.
would only eat on the show. Yeah.
There's no way he's going to do it, by the way.
I know, because he
I
literally
know.
can't.
No, he's weird.
But there's also people
And he gets hangry.
with medical conditions who need to eat at certain times in the day.
Okay, but is it a sin to impose your fasting on others?
I just asked as a
Here we
suggestion.
go. Here we
It
go.
was a suggestion. No, I
Yeah.
don't think you should
Yeah, I
impose your
wouldn't.
fasting on others.
I don't think he's imposing.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
He was just asking, and
Yeah.
and I love it, by the way.
You
I
know,
love it.
You know, Father Andy would lose his mind if he was on the show today because of the mortal sin subject.
Yeah, 100%. I was
He
thinking that
would.
too.
He would, right?
He would commit a mortal sin
Yeah.
if he was here.
But my real thing that I really want to do for this show is that we don't eat on the show.
Like ever?
No, during Lent.
Oh, during Lent?
We start there.
I think
we can reconvene after Lent and see.
We saw
I
it
know,
to
but
be
the show
very
is
fruitful.
called Feeding Fathers, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, fasting.
literally-
No, he's
I
talking
know,
about the
okay, fine.
transformation to
During
but-
Lent,
but-
fasting.
sure,
but
but
feeding fathers can have different meetings. We don't have to eat just. To
I
be
know,
feeding.
I know,
We're
I
feeding the community with.
We're focusing on every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. At that point.
instead of
We're chewing on the
food.
words of Christ from
yeah.
the scriptures.
We can bring back chai. I don't know if
That's-
our
so that's-
producers will be happy with
That's
this.
why I suggested like we do a simple meal, like with chai or whatever else they used to eat on Chai Chat.
Thank you for the chai, Father
Chai is
Andy.
light, I'm sorry.
light, huh?
Just
Yeah,
please
nothing's changed since
Please
last
complain
season.
about the chai.
This food is gonna last us all season.
What are we talking about today?
Lent.
Oh, Lent, okay.
Yeah. So
As far as you know, it's Lent right now.
let me get this just so that
So we have some Soma food, and we actually have some Lenten chai because it's barely there. I'm sorry for the chai, guys.
Cheers.
what
Cheers.
happened?
It's just really light.
Looks like whiskey.
So it's chai at Soma. Cheers.
Cheers.
That show that
I think you guys are being really imposing right now. And
Why don't we vote?
okay, I know Father Andy's gonna vote. I think Father Ankito's gonna side with you because of his health stuff.
Father Andy
What are
would
you gonna
vote,
vote?
get out of my face, we should have food.
Yeah.
100%.
Why? I don't.
But
think so.
but he's a core bishop, and so his vote should be more like 2 votes maybe.
What's a core bishop?
What's it? Father Andy. Watch episode like 5 episodes ago. I think we spoke about it. Not a bishop.
Even if his
Someone asked me just the other day. So does that mean that Father Andy's gonna be our bishop? I mean, that would be cool one day. He'd be
Yeah.
a great bishop, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna be a bishop.
he
just
also
because he's a
likes
core
being
bishop.
called Monsignor.
Monsignor.
Yeah.
Do the producers get a vote?
No.
No, right?
Absolutely
No,
not.
absolutely not. This is not a
But
democracy.
I'm sure they would vote for food.
That's only a question.
sure they would
That's
vote
only a question that the producers would ask.
I know.
Or tell
yeah.
you to ask.
I know. Yeah, they just told me to ask that.
Yeah.
What would you vote?
See,
Yeah.
you
That
can
would be-
read that, right?
I'm gonna edit poorly due to lack of nutrition.
They don't feed you at home, bro.
What were you saying?
You would,
Someone was saying
you would
something.
lose the vote. By
I
the
think
way.
you'd lose the vote.
You
bro.
would lose the vote because he's a whip vote right now. You're
I have an
have
idea.
I'm a swing voter.
I have an idea.
Yeah,
I'm a swing-
because I don't know where he would go with
I'm a
this.
swing state.
I have an idea. How about the people vote? How about the viewers?
Yeah, we said that.
We are doing this for the people. Okay, we're doing this for the people.
How are they gonna
Okay,
vote?
I have an okay. That's
I
a
don't
great,
know, Instagram
that's a,
poll or
that's
something?
a great suggestion, Father Simon.
Okay.
While they're voting too, they can say in the time where we eat, they can give suggestions on what we can do during the fun.
That's
segment.
fine. Okay, that's okay with me.
You're probably gonna lose that too, by the way.
No. I don't know. I mean,
You
why
said-
would they vote no? Just because they get too hungry when they watch us eat or something? I
No,
don't know.
It's just
it's
it's
exactly.
By
the way, don't forget how confident you were about that Luther episode. You said
What did you say?
it was gonna be the most popular,
I said
it's gonna get
the most views.
and he lost a bet, and
Yeah.
he bought me something very nice.
Yeah,
Thank you, Father.
man,
Simon.
I'm a man of my word. You know.
Thank you for that. Honestly,
Yeah,
you
you
are.
gotta do it.
Come here.
Love you, man. So speaking of food and stuff, you guys want to just eat right now because I'm starving?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Sure.
let's do it.
Here, you want a Oreo?
No, after. Fried Oreos. This is like one of the craziest meals we've had on here, right, guys?
Oh, Siri. Wait.
Yeah.
There's no theme. It's just like everything,
It said Siri. Do you want an Oreo?
which actually makes sense for the last episode before Lent. It's just
It
everything is
does.
here.
Yeah. Shout out to Grubz on College Avenue, I think, by San Diego State for this amazing food.
It's really good.
That's what Mardi Gras is for, right? Fat
Fat
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Smash burger.
And
Smash
that's
burger.
like the
And it
last
says,
hurrah before
yeah.
Ash Wednesday.
Let's try the smash burgers, guys. Should we cut these? The fours?
I'm okay. I don't want.
No, eat it. Eat it. We want you to be happy.
I mean, I got the Cali burrito, half of it. You should
How was
eat it
it?
too. It was very good. I love
But
the.
what were you gonna say? It's bad.
No, I love the variety that they have at this place, bro. Gyro fries, pulled pork fries,
Good smash burger.
Oh, Euro fries.
fried Oreos.
Right down my
Churros.
alley.
Yeah, I have everything.
So what do you guys want to do for Lent food for this show? For Lent food, because an idea that I had was we get restaurants that are vegan friendly or like fasting friendly just for the theme,
Just try this.
but we don't have to do that. Just try this.
Pretty good.
Like we could just not eat anything on the show for sure.
I think we could pull. You said.
Yeah.
That was a great suggestion.
Oh wow,
Talk to the people.
bro, surf and turf.
What do you think about it?
This
Yeah,
amazing, bro.
I'm
You gotta
okay.
try it, man.
I'm okay.
Good. Why? What are you okay about?
I'm okay with who I am.
You give me some salsa, please,
Yeah.
or hot sauce.
You want to try the surf and turf?
I'm good, thank you.
Father Tristan, can you put that back there?
I'm enjoying the pulled pork.
So is this
Tots.
a Mexican place?
What is this place?
Like just everything.
No, the
But it's
red
like
one.
Mexican.
Why is there
food.
only one salsa?
The
Well,
one
where?
right in front of you.
Oh, these.
No, that one. Right behind it.
This one. Oh, okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. My bad.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Tater tots are good.
So why do you keep making bets that you lose? Father Ronnie made a bet with me today. I think he's getting
They
a
did?
deal.
Is
Yeah,
gambling a sin?
he said
Is it?
I was asking.
No.
I want to know.
No.
Oh, okay.
Only when you overdo it
yeah.
and you hurt yourself when you do it.
What if you're underage?
And underage
Yeah.
too, yeah.
He bet me anything
That's
I
not-
wanted that he would beat me in bowling. And he told me to ask you.
Bro, he's a good bowler, man. He's good. I don't know how. I
Like
don't know how.
strikes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
hmm
I would have never guessed.
Mhm.
But he's left-handed.
I wouldn't have guessed either. I
Yeah.
mean,
Why? Why?
he's like decent at ping pong. He's good at like things.
What do you onion
He's
ring?
good at things.
Onion ring.
He's good at like your
What are these guys?
He's good at speaking German. I
Shout out
hope.
Father Ronnie. I know you watched the show. So shout out to Father Ronnie.
He does?
Okay, I'm done playing around. I need a fried Oreo. That's enough. Thank you.
Just take the yeah,
Probably
yeah.
better idea.
But the only thing missing from that would be
Here.
some. No, hold on. I'm not ready for it yet.
Somewhat.
Oh, I'm gonna get there. Don't worry.
Powdered sugar.
Oh,
Vanilla
powdered
ice cream,
sugar,
bro.
Vanilla ice cream, yeah.
So is that the same thing?
lamb.
Lamb burger?
Yeah,
There's no way.
yeah.
Yeah.
What does this place not have?
Oh wow.
That shit.
This too? No, this is a smash burger.
I had to speak Assyrian dialect with somebody today. It was fun, actually. I love it.
Really?
I love it.
So do you guys think there's any like are you guys doing anything different for Lent this year? Honestly, if you're willing to share.
I always give up
I don't
coffee.
know.
Really?
I don't know exactly every detail.
Coffee?
of Lent, but
Ever since seminary, every Lent, I've given up coffee.
Not a sip?
Wow.
On Sundays, I'll drink a latte. Yeah,
Wow.
it's hard.
The smash burger is very good, bro.
always the hiccups. Always.
What about you?
Me?
I think I'm gonna.
You or
I'm
him?
gonna take intermittent fasting really seriously.
Okay. But at what point I'm not saying anything about you right now.
Say it. Okay. Obviously, it's about me when you say when you preface it with that.
Get in the shot. I don't think you're in the
Okay.
shot.
At what point is it like a diet?
Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Andrew cut it. Andrew cut it.
No, hold on. It's a fine. It's a fair point.
real, bro. Yeah, people like
Well, I'm sorry. I'm fat and I eat a lot of
You
food.
just made a fat joke on feeding fathers.
That's fine. Listen, I eat a lot of food. I enjoy food. So the thing is,
I'm
the
with
thing
you,
is,
bro.
if I'm gonna lose weight when I fast, when I'm denying myself, that's just the natural course of mankind.
You're
So
fat
that's a
shaming.
good thing, right?
Yeah. it's a
Yeah.
good
So
point.
listen, what I'm saying
What did you
is
just say right now? What are you trying to one-on-one in basketball, I'll beat you. One-on-one in
no,
school,
you won't, bro.
Yeah, I will.
You won't, dude.
Yes, I will.
How much smack did you talk
Yes,
about
I
the
will.
3-point
That's
contest?
fine.
and
It's
you
just
lost?
shooting.
Okay.
And I barely lost.
When you want to go one on
No,
one?
no. Anytime you want.
Okay, we should film it. We should film it. But listen,
Guys, it's gonna be okay, man.
listen, Father
As he
Tristan.
takes a bite of the
I'm gonna try to find origin. That would be so cool.
I was saying for the people
you
watching.
You know, Dominic
happy
Atisha
for
would
you.
have a field day with this conversation, by the way.
He just trolled me just for fun. It was good.
My point was, it's okay to do both.
It was weird.
He's ignoring you now.
You understand my point?
Yeah.
It's okay to do both
That's what I said. I mean,
That's it.
Naturally speaking.
But why were we only talking to him?
because he said he wanted to do intermittent fasting.
But the way when you say like intermittent fasting, you're saying, oh, it's just like some
You
kind
said
of
intermittent
diet.
fasting.
I said, yeah, it's intermittent fasting, but that's just fasting.
For a spiritual sense.
Yeah.
But you
Both.
took it to a
Both, yeah,
physical.
both.
I'm trying to help you here.
Thank you. I know.
When are we gonna do the one-on-one, bro?
Whatever you want.
I'll go right now. There's a basketball hoop out here.
Yeah, right now. Want me to throw up? Would you want to throw up?
He's the king. You're not going to beat him.
The king, not the king. Christ is king.
That's true.
At St. Joseph will do it, by the way. At St. Joseph. On your home court.
Another joke?
What?
Was that a joke?
That was a joke, right? That was like a troll, home court.
Yeah, because I just beat you on your home court with
Yeah.
the 3-point. Yeah.
So how's everyone's day?
Bro, I love you, man.
Love you too. Didn't say it.
Have a blessed Lent, everybody.
Pass the churro, please, Father.
Bricha Som Maraba.
Let me try the.
Have a good Lent, blessed Lent. You're gonna watch this, so you have a couple of days to think about it. I recommend fasting from churros.
That looks so good. I'm good, thank you.
There's
I
stuff-
just said it looks good.
They're stuffed with caramel or something.
Oh, look.
Really? Bro.
So I just recommend fasting from
Vanilla
Petco
Chaldean
Petco Park.
Grease.
Petco Park.
What
Vanilla.
about Petco Park? You said Petco Park 5 times. What about Petco Park? we know you're talking about Petco Park now.
They have the worst churros there, by the way.
Where?
Petco Park.
Oh.
I thought
I know,
you were
but the
saying.
soft serve. No, you
Soft
get the
serve.
soft serve,
Oh, and the hat?
vanilla, and the hat, and the churro, and dip.
At Petco Park.
Petco Park.
But yo, churro stuff.
But a churro's a churro, though.
Right.
These are different.
That's what I thought.
Really?
You guys aren't from El Cajon, so you don't know what a good churro tastes like.
Where do you get churros in El Cajon? Can you tell us the spot? It's
Oh wow, no. This is different, dude.
Hey,
Broadway.
I wasn't the one attacking you, bro. Put the claws away. It's him. He's your enemy.
I have no enemies.
I'm just happy to be the swing state.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro. This was a crazy episode, man.
it was lively.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
They're all great episodes.
They are.
لا يعني كل 8 دقيقة يعني. Yeah.
I mean, YouTube is YouTube.
Keep going. Want to end the
No, let's just end it,
Want
bro.
to end it?
Let's just end it.
We should have ended it when we said have a blessed Lent.